Hi everyone, it's Athena and welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, the 28th of January, 2020. Okay, so I feel that there's a lot of us who are still needing to walk away from things that no longer serve us in our lives. I think it's a process. It's always a process. It's continuing process, I should say, right? Such as walking away from arguments that get you nowhere, right? Those are things that are continuous. Walking away because it just leads to angry, hurtful feelings and or words. So it's best to just walk away from those. Learning to, right? It's all about learning to. Walking away from people who, put you down, right? Walking away from those people who judge. And if we are the ones who judge, let us take a minute to change that around. As you know, if you've been listening to my channel, judging is just a mere reflection of how you feel about yourself, okay? So, and then there's the other side of the spectrum, right? Is like those who people please. We need to walk away from the practice, right, of people pleasing, if that is you or others, right? Walking away from our mistakes, our fears, right? These are all things that we have choices, struggles, we have whatever these are, they don't determine our fate, right? So, hence, the lesson is the more that you walk away from things that, let's just say, for lack of a better word, poison your soul, the healthier your life is going to be, right? Okay, let's see what the message is for today, January 28th, 2020. Still dealing with a lot of new stuff going on, still dealing with that process of walking away, right? All right, let's see what's happening. All right, so this flew out, holding on to the balance and balancing it out, right? Holding on to balancing your life, holding on loosely to balancing, meaning it's good to be balanced, but you have to be imbalanced in order to gain a sense of balance, right? There has to be some imbalance. Does that make sense? In order to balance your life out, you have to get through these things, such as having that walking away from things that don't serve you. That's how you gain some balance. But in the meantime, there's like complete chaos in doing it. Okay. Starting from scratch, right? So we're learning. We're learning again. It's like we're children. We're back to being our childhood self, right? And our child self is learning how to walk again. And that's how we gain our balance, right? So those of you who feel like you have been, let's say, in a rebirth state, you're learning again to walk. And now you're taking this like to the point where you're balancing out with the knowledge that you've attained, right? The knowledge of giving and receiving love, now that what you are here, right? You're here, but you're reborn enough to know with the knowledge that you've achieved that the way to growing pains is to walk away from all these things that did not and have not served you. So you're learning now to walk again in a different way than you did as like the literal child coming into the world, right? It's the same idea here. Just you have the knowledge now to do it differently, to walk away from things so that you can choose. It's like the rebirth is being able to choose all over again, right? Making the choices that will enhance your soul's growth. All right, so that's when the light bulb comes on and you say, oh yeah, I get it. Now I get it. I get this. So some of you have experienced, right? Here's the rebirth of the explosion of the past is gone, and whatever you're needing to release, you have. And now the enlightenment, the stage of where you progress now is through your emotional learning to move through life, right? With a whole healthier type of feel to it, right? You're moving into a whole new way of being. And this is balancing you out because you've been reborn. Now, this is not going to apply to everyone, but a lot of people have been, right? A lot of people have experienced that. A lot of people have gone through this. So this is that's why I think it came out. This is where that eruption came from. These are all the lessons and the surrendering that one goes through in order to become a child again, to be reborn, okay? And this is going to balance you out. You're taking all the lessons, you're surrendering, and you're walking away from all the lessons that you've learned. You're walking away and you're putting into action these lessons about not choosing people who don't see your worth, about not staying in relationships just because they feel secure and safe. Those are the lessons that you've learned. So take these lessons, and now you're going to move forward in a whole new way, right? Because you've been reborn. You have that now childhood feel to you where you can say no. You can say no to the things and the people and the places who once judged you or once wanted to take advantage of who you were and are. Still, they're going to try. So these are all illusions. The people, places, and things that have taught you these lessons, right? They're gonna continue trying because that's what they do. People who are not in a giving and receiving of love type learning of growth for their own higher self, they're not going to be learning these lessons, but you have. So understand that if any of these cups come to you with anything else except for the truth and for your understanding and knowing of how you are united here as a whole person, you're not going to have any of this. You're not going to choose anything here unless it's good for your soul, unless it's good for you, unless it's going to give you wings. I just noticed the wings. If these lessons haven't been learned, they're going to be relearned again. That's another thing. If you allow anything back, because, it happens. It's not going to be like, this magic potion where you're not going to feel like there's another lesson here to be learned because you're allowing something to happen again. You're allowing someone to show their true colors here. It happens. People are going to show you their true colors, and we fall for it sometimes because we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then it's kind of like a back and forth process, right, of healing. So let's just continue to walk forward. And if these offers of illusions or illusions tend to taint your judgment, again, don't worry about that part as much as go back to the drawing board and start over, just like the child, right? Go back to what you have been facing and the struggles that you've been through to get you to a balanced place, okay? It's like, it's a constant, you know what I mean? It's constant. These are lessons that we've learned, but they're constant. So always be in surrender mode and learn from whatever comes, even if it's in a different form, in a different face, a different illusion of grandeur, say, right? People are going to show up differently just to test the waters, to see if you've learned these lessons in actuality, right? Okay, bottom of the deck. There it is. There's the rebirth. There's the rebirth, right? You've gone through this dark night of the soul. You've shed the Kundalini, in terms of the snake, the Kundalini rising. You've shed a part of you who, you know, continues to be shed. It's not a one-step process. The dark night of the soul is different for all. It's just like a pregnancy. A pregnancy is different for every woman who has a child, all right? The time of birth, the time of months, usually 9 months, but sometimes it's not like that, right? And the idea here is that whatever has now been, you know, this has been learned through many fears. This has been shed through a time period of now you have been reborn. So this is how you got here. Yes? Some of you have felt this it took enormous courage and bravery to go through this. And of course, it's not, you don't think that you've asked for it, but you have. A lot of people, a lot of humans want their souls to grow. So they have asked for this dark night of the soul and shedding into a rebirth. They have, in order for their soul to grow, okay? You know, in order to start a whole new way of walking out into life. You know, shedding the old and surrendering is difficult. It takes bravery. The balance that we need is all about shedding and starting over and walking away from things that don't serve us. So a lot of us have felt the need to balance our lives. And it took courage, like I said, to do it. It's not easy. It's not an easy journey. You have to really dive deep into your own self. It can't even really be explained in words how it is and how it feels to go through a rebirth and a dark night of the soul. It's not explainable. If someone tries to explain it to you, it's very different for each individual soul. So as we come to this point, leading progression and or not progression, I'm not feeling this truly as a progression or otherwise. What I'm feeling is we're just rolling with it, right? We're walking into whatever the universe wants to show us, and this is just allowing us to receive now whatever it is that we want to receive, right? We are strong enough. We have the energy. We have the excitement of that of which is to come, okay? So it could be a little progression, but see, you're going to still feel this. So it's going to be like the waters are being tested. We're always being tested to the progression of our soul's growth. Follow me. So the progression is, it's kind of like this. All right, look. Here we are, enlightened and reborn, right? Here's the iguana. We have gone through the recalibration through our dream state, as well as the lessons in our physical state of surrendering. Yes? And then we're tested. Other cups come into our sphere, depicting different faces and situations, right, that come up, and chaos that will come up, and drama, whatever, to allow us to walk away again, once again, right? It's a continuation, right, with the determination and the strength that we have had to endure, right? So we've had to endure the strength to go through this, those of us who asked, because innately we wanted to get ourselves, our sense of balance and progress. This is all about progressing your soul to grow. So once we have this balance, as we see, right, we now are able to venture out into the new and understand what we need to understand, but we're still, don't forget. So the situation lends itself, we're still the child walking, right? So we are going to make those mistakes again. We are going to fall for those who try to give us different scenarios of how worthy are you to accept people in your life again that may anger you or may deceive you or what have you. You're still the child learning to walk, so give yourself a break. But the good news, and the good news, not but, and the good news with all of this and within all of this is the excitement of what is to come next, with the understanding and confidence now of how you've made it through this, right? How you have now gained an understanding of diving deep within yourself to grow yourself and to continue to do so, okay? And even though this is at, like, in your subconsciousness, right, you still feel some pain. You're going to. It's part of the growth. It's part of growing up. Part of growing up is this, right? Is feeling, really feeling, because this is what this is. It's all about feeling, the waters and feeling. If that comes back to you, if things from the past come back to you that make you feel the same way you used to feel, then those are trigger points. This is a trigger, right? So now you're going to face it in a different way. Because you've learned, and you're still learning, right? So some of you are still learning, and things are just going to be coming out sometimes out of nowhere. You're going to be like, oh my God, I haven't even thought about that in years, right? And it's going to come to you like as if just like that. In order for you to expand your own soul and gain personal power, you need to learn how to walk again through these situations that are presenting themselves to you so that you can choose now a healthier life, a healthier situations, right? Okay. And that is your truth. Whatever your truth looks like, that's what you're going to choose, because you now come into this situation as a reborn child with all this wisdom and all this knowledge, but you're still going to fall. We all fall. You have to fall in order to gain that lesson, in order to feel more worthy of. You have to practice, right? If you don't practice at something, you don't get good at it, right? So life is all about the practice. The life here is about practice and growing and going through the rebirth. Like literally every day that we live it's like you can choose to play out your day in a whole different manner, right? Your day, your life, right? Every choice you make is you have the choice to wake up and make it a different day, right? Make it look different. Don't choose the same things day by day, right? Going in circles. Why? Why do we go in circles? Because we're creatures of habit, for sure. So take this as a lesson not to continue to keep going in circles. Walk away from going in circles, round and round, with the same situations. It's a choice. The universe is saying you have that choice. Make the choice so that you can gain everything that you innately already have been given. This is your higher self talking to your childhood self, saying, listen, I've seen you. I've seen you going through the same old every day. Let's try it differently today. Let's take one little lesson. Let's take one lesson out of this treasure box that's within you. Take one little, whatever that is. Is it just a sliver of sincerity that you must take out of this treasure box, and be sincere enough to allow yourself to gain the understanding, to be sincere enough to tell the truth, things like that, or to take out a compassionate feel of what you've learned, to share it with another. Okay? What is in your treasure box? Take it out now and use it, because your higher self is calling you to do so. There's the sincerity of truth. Be sincere enough to tell the truth to others, right? It's not always easy, but maybe it came out as sincerity. So the sincerity is for you to have for yourself and others, to give that truth to others. Be sincere enough to others, and to allow that balance, which will balance you out completely and plant new seeds for you to grow. Okay? This is for your own growth. It's for your own soul's growth. The awareness of walking away from those things that continue to keep you going in circles. This is what you're going to, now you're enlightened. You know how it works pretty much, right? It's not like you're not going to have days where you're going to be like, darn, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Or I knew I made that choice knowing that that person was not being honest with me, whatever. The sincerity has to come from your own truth first, right? Okay, let's take one of these and see what else is the universe would like for us to know for today, the 28th of January, 2020. So that's the truth of the situation, is to not do continuous things over and over again when you know better. And even if you do, you're still walking. You're walking a whole new, you're this child now, right? With this child with a lot of knowledge, right? So you're planting new seeds with that understanding. And that is your truth. And that's what you're showing to the world every day. Making a different decision, making a different choices that will help you. Phases and cycles, exactly. Right? That's what we talked about just now. Changing these in order to make better choices for your growth. There's a beginning within every ending. Illusions are being revealed and released. And Freya comes to say the phases and cycles of one's life are being revisited. At times they are going to be revisited only to learn again the lesson. Have a great day.